something good's about to happen. So stay tuned and let's see what we got. Inside Chris Buescher's luxury lifestyle. This is off to a good start. I'm excited. I want to learn something today.
Chris Buescher has taken the NASCAR world by storm.
A while back, Chris Buescher did a video on the Roush YouTube channel reacting to an AI NASCAR video about his luxury lifestyle. It was about as hilarious as you can imagine. Well, recently, a video from that exact same NASCAR AI channel came up in my feed. So I decided to look at the channel in question and pretty much figured it was one of those fake headline bots that you see every once in a blue moon. So I looked through the channel. Not many videos, probably something fairly new from 2023. But a certain video caught my attention. So, naturally, curiosity got to me. And I watched part of the video, and oh my god! So now, just like Chris Buescher beforehand, we're going to watch one of these videos together right here, right now. The video in question is called NASCAR Drivers Who Got Permanently Banned. Okay, so a video about Hmiel, because he's technically, by definition, literally the only one, except not really, because he was invited back by NASCAR as a guest after his Buick incident in 2010. But even then, drivers is plural. So this is going to be already, pretty wonky, isn't it? And even better, and this is why I assumed it was one of those fake AI video bot things. Look at the thumbnail to this video. Yeah, so not only does this guy do a horrible job at pixelating the faces, but the two drivers he features are Kevin Grub, the driver who probably had the biggest impact on how NASCAR fans view mental health, and Brad Keselowski, one of my NASCAR dozen, and someone who's never been suspended, let alone banned, from NASCAR. So this should go well. Let's begin.
Do you think you know racing? The real checkered flag is about to drop on NASCAR's dirtiest secrets, from coke kingpins to suicidal accidents waiting to happen. In this video, we will talk about the 8 drivers slapped with lifetime bans, the hair-raising truth behind the closest calls on and off the track, the substance abuse, nightmares, NASCAR praise you never discover. Smash that subscribe button, and let's start the video.
Okay, so literally none of the footage that you featured relates to any of this. Good start! Bristol Dirt doesn't, Hamlin, surprisingly, doesn't, Harvick doesn't, Nuisance doesn't, Spingate doesn't. That's probably going to be a theme all throughout the video because of what I saw from the Chris Buescher video and his reaction to it. Also, again, only one driver ever got the lifetime ban, and even then, it wasn't even a lifetime ban. Also, the way that one sentence was said does tell me it's a bot voice doing this, so okay. This is going to be just great. Alright, let's see who this guy talks about.
Kicking off with the Steve Seligman back in 1997 after police raided his race shop and found a significant amount of cocaine. Seligman had struggled for years to qualify for Winston Cup races, but did manage to score some decent runs in the RCA series. However, his NASCAR hopes were completely dashed after the drug charges, which resulted in a lifetime ban from the sport as well as a lengthy 27-year prison sentence.
Okay, so not Steve Seligman, but the Steve Seligman. Okay, so it looks like this guy got his story behind what happened to him correct. Now, the Daily Downforce says that Steve was banned for life, which is news to me. I knew nothing about this guy prior to a quick search. And even then, I found nothing regarding an RCA series. But then I put 2 and 2 together and figured out the bot was trying to say ARCA. To which he's only made 3 starts ever in the late 1980s. So the bot got the offenses right, but the stats wrong. Also, to my surprise, he's now apparently doing races every once in a while in the new ASA series. I did not see that coming when I was looking this guy up, so, Moving on.
Another rising young driver whose career was derailed by addiction problems was Shane Hmiel.
Hmiel? Did he just say Hmiel? Okay, so, also looking through the Daily Downforce article, for whatever reason, the spelling that was used in the video is the exact way Daily Downforce spelled it, so, why? Okay. So I guess the bot, or the guy who used the AI to make the video, just went with it. Alright, what else does he have to say?
A second-generation racer whose father was an executive at NASCAR. Hmiel won Rookie of the Year honors in the Busch East Series and seemed destined for NASCAR stardom. Off-track issues with marijuana and other drugs led to reckless driving and multiple failed drug tests. After several suspension attempts at rehabilitation, his royal bloodline couldn't save him from a lifetime ban.
Royal bloodline? Royal bloodline? Listen, I know that his dad Steve Hmiel was involved in NASCAR for a long while, but no one considers the Hmiel family racing royalty. Also, what does the Chicago Street Course have to do with this? Again, things that are out of place in the video. What else does he say about Shane Hmiel? That was so dumb. It's male.
He made brief comebacks in other leagues like the World of Outlaws, but could not escape his inner demons. A devastating career-ending crash during an Outlaws event was the last straw.
That's not what an inner demon is. Okay, so what the bot does not tell you is that after the lifetime ban, and Shane Hmiel is technically the only driver to receive a lifetime ban by definition and terminology, even though it wasn't that. For those who don't know the story, Shane got into some bar fight after the lifetime ban sometime in 2007. After that is when he received the treatment for the correct diagnosis that he needed. It turns out that Shane was misdiagnosed with ADHD at the age of 5. I'm not making that up. It was during that treatment that he was correctly diagnosed with bipolar disorder. 27 years he struggled with all that due to a misdiagnosis at single-digit age. That honestly sucks when you think about it, regardless of how you feel about him. Also, it wasn't a World of Outlaws wreck at Terre Haute. It was a USAC sprint car. I don't know which one of the USAC sprint cars, to be honest, because there's like 3 of them. And as I mentioned earlier, the lifetime ban technically wasn't a lifetime ban because NASCAR invited Shane to some events as a guest and perhaps as a goodwill gesture given other controversies. So, yeah. Okay, who's he talk about next?
Kevin Grub.
Oh, God, what's he gonna say about him?
The once promising young Xfinity driver was suspended not once, but twice for failing multiple drug screenings. The second time in 2006, Grub refused testing altogether. His fall from grace culminated after he lost his NASCAR privileges for good and took his own life just 3 years later. He committed suicide by gunshot after descending into depression when NASCAR rejected his reinstatement appeal.
Did I see that right?
The once promising young Xfinity driver was suspended not once, but twice for failing multiple drug screenings.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. This guy, looking for pictures of Kevin Grub to use for his video, used the thumbnail to my video on him in 2019! I can't believe that! Okay, so there's a pretty good chance that if you're watching this video, you probably have seen or at least know of my video on Kevin Grub that debuted on the 10-year anniversary of his tragic passing. That video, to me, is one of the best and most emotional videos I've ever done. Despite me having a crappy microphone at the time. But either way, Kevin Grub's story completely changed how I view NASCAR's drug policy and mental health in general. He and his brother Wayne are the closest to a hometown racer I ever had. Be sure to watch that video, after this one of course, to get the entire story, because there's quite a few things that this guy got wrong in the video. And my video will help you out with all the details and even more than some. All my years researching that story, I think only one person has ever brought up the idea of him trying to get reinstated past 2006. And that alone was not the reason he succumbed to depression. My video will explain that and way more. Okay, who does this guy mention next?
Sammy Potashnik showed potential in NASCAR's Truck and Xfinity series, but kept failing mandatory drug tests administered after incidents on the track.
Incorrect on Sammy Potashnik. His story is, in 2002, he was arrested for possessing hydrocodone and cocaine. He was suspended by NASCAR, pretty much never raced again, and if you want to believe the internet, is now apparently an executive for Potashnik Transportation, Inc., which is in Missouri. Sammy is listed as being from Missouri, so potentially it checks out.
Shane Sieg was a promising young driver and got success in NASCAR's Craftsman Truck Series. Scoring a career best finish of 8th in the series at Milwaukee, Sieg was an impressive prospect for many teams in the garage. That was until his indefinite suspension in 2011 for failing a NASCAR-mandated drug test. Shane Sieg sadly passed away in 2017 at the age of only 34 years old.
Okay, here we go! First of all, I've never heard of Shane Sieg being a prospect. He raced for his family team and Billy Ballou, and that's as far as I can remember in regards to him. Now, some of you may know this, but I've actually wanted to do a video on Shane Sieg for a long while now. Like a few other drivers that I've done videos on, there is a bit of mystery to his story and his tragic death. The reason I haven't been able to do one is because the cause of death was never confirmed, or at very least the speculations regarding it were never really narrowed down. And there's a multitude of theories regarding his passing. The most popular speculation, naturally and unfortunately, is that it was a drug overdose or something to that extent. But I have also heard that there may have been a brief and/or terminal illness, And it might have also been a car accident. And there are many people out there who believe it was a car wreck. But without having any definitive proof to anything to even muster an educated guesstimation or discover 100% confirmed revelation as what the truth is, I can't properly do a video on Shane Sieg. Because I'd be speculating at best, and I'm not going to put Shane and his family through that. It also doesn't help that we've heard literally nothing from Shane in the last 6 years of his life. The only thing I know of is that he went back to working for the family business in Georgia. But that's literally all I could find within the last 6 years of his life, even with research. So, now that you know that story, and why there hasn't been a Shane Sieg video on my channel as of now, let's move on to who the bot covered next.
While the majority of NASCAR's drug-related bans have involved illegal street drugs like marijuana, cocaine, or prescription medicine abuse, some have also been handed down over legal issues related to alcohol. Canadian driver Derek White got an indefinite suspension after being arrested in 2016 for his role in a cross-border tobacco and alcohol smuggling operation. The scheme was designed to avoid paying Canadian taxes and duties on large illegal shipments. White had managed to race his way from Canada's NASCAR series into a few Xfinity truck and even Cup events in the US, but threw it all away after just one NASCAR start that year at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. It was an unfortunate end for a driver who seemed close to breaking through.
Literally nothing in regards to Derek White's story relates to alcohol. It was only tobacco. It was something related to the Mohawk Indian tribe versus Canada wanting taxes over the tobacco. In 2019, he was acquitted for one of the charges, and in late 2023, the entire conviction as a whole was completely overturned. Sometime in 2024, he was actually reinstated. As for being close to breaking through, he was racing for backmarkers and Xfinity, so no.
Other lesser-known drivers like Ronnie Holtz and Jack Smith also effectively ended their NASCAR hopes after multiple drug offenses. Holtz claimed his positive test was due to prescribed medical marijuana, but the authorities did not officially recognize it as a valid reason at the time.
Okay, I don't have a clue who Ronnie Holtz is, so I had to look him up. The bot is correct in saying he was on medical marijuana, which is legal in Colorado, where he's from. The only stat that I saw on him on Racing Reference was one ARCA West start in 2011, which that year was called the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West, so it makes sense. There's literally no update in regards to him based on what I could find. So I have literally no idea where this guy is now.
Smith was initially banned in 2010 for buying illegal substances using a fake name, but got reinstated. Yet just a year later, another drug-related arrest triggered a lifetime ban.
Jack Smith actually has a pretty interesting story. He was in the truck series for a while, was suspended by NASCAR for the drug policy, came back, and this story was revealed.
Well, Rick, last September when the press release came out, it said that Jack Smith had illegally brought drugs and that he was indefinitely suspended by NASCAR. But what that story didn't tell you was that a year and a half earlier, he had broken his neck in a racing accident and become addicted to pain medicine. Jack Smith used a prescription that was illegal and he got caught. But he told me earlier today it was the greatest thing that ever happened to him in his life. After 4 months of rehab, Jack Smith is pain-free, his neck feels great, and tonight he's reinstated by NASCAR and going racing for the Mittler brothers. A great start to a brand new chapter in this young man's life.
Soon after that, though, he was suspended again, but there is much more to his story. The bot story of the first suspension was correct, but the second suspension I don't believe was. I'm pretty sure it was for a failed drug test, and presumably, the second suspension was for something called kratom. Something Jack Smith claims is like a miracle drug of sorts. He now spends his time advocating for it as it's currently deemed illegal in many places. Jack credits kratom with saving his life and helping him beat his addiction to pain pills, which he got from breaking his neck in a racing incident before the first suspension. Apparently, there's a documentary out there somewhere called Life of Kratom, and Jack Smith is actually the CEO of something called Life from Kratom. It's a pretty interesting story. He's pretty much put NASCAR behind him and has found his new purpose in life. So good for him. So, despite 8 drivers being discussed in this video, as the bot said, there's still about 1.5 minutes left in the video. Let's see what the bot has to say now.
The reasons why certain drivers fall into patterns of addiction and self-destructive behavior, even as they approach their dream job, vary widely. Racing puts huge physical, mental, and emotional strain on people, and everyone handles pressure differently. Some may turn to illegal stimulants to drive faster laps, while others lean on substances to relieve stress and fatigue from long days of travel and track time. Teammate conflicts, sponsorship demands, family problems, financial worries, and many other issues can also trigger depression and desire to numb emotional pain. Without a proper support system to reach out for help, it becomes all too easy for racing's pressures to lead a driver down a dark path. The tragic ends of drivers like Kevin Grub and Shane Sieg also illustrate how banning people with addiction and mental health problems can inadvertently make the issues even worse. There need to be better safety nets and resources in place to give struggling drivers another chance both in racing and life. Permanent suspension should only come after repeated refusal to change behavior despite real opportunities for rehabilitation with access to professional help. Some people truly want to improve themselves but cannot do it all alone. Which NASCAR driver ban you see the saddest one? And which driver you think should have given a second chance? Let me know in the comments below. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ding that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. I will catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.
I think I understand why that bot used the thumbnail from my Kevin Grub video now. Whoever made that video must have watched my video. I pretty much give a similar message in the Kevin Grub video about how NASCAR does nothing for the drivers that they suspend as if they were nothing but common trash. Like Hmiel dealing with an ADHD misdiagnosis for 27 years, or Kevin Grub's battle with depression, a concussion that NASCAR did not diagnose in what turned out to be his last race, and all of those effects eventually killed him. We're probably lucky we have not lost more drivers, like Jack Smith, and other drivers suspended by NASCAR that many have had concerns for a variety of reasons that weren't featured in this video. The most common driver in that category being Jeremy Mayfield. NASCAR is trying to make mental health more prevalent, with multiple drivers admitting to battling depression, and NASCAR is embracing that and advocating for it now. I am hopeful that my Kevin Grub video, over 5 years ago, by the way, did make a difference. I'd be so happy if it did. Because no one should have to go through what Kevin did. I went into this video wanting to laugh at it for having some incorrect information, which it did, and using the thumbnail to my Kevin Grub video in his video, which he did. But now at this point I can't. Yeah, that channel's had some clickbait videos, or clickbait thumbnails at the very least. And yeah, some information in that video was incorrect as predicted. Also, why was Brad Keselowski in the thumbnail? Let's not forget about that. But the message at the end, it's reminiscent of my own message from my Kevin Grub video. This wasn't a usual NASCAR bot video that everyone ho-hums about on social media, like Chris Buescher and the video the same channel did on his luxury lifestyle. There was something to it at the very end, which, given it's an AI video, there was some effort at the very end by whoever made it. I'm hopeful you guys got some good education and entertainment out of this video. And I hope that NASCAR and auto racing in general does not forget the lessons from these types of stories. And especially the lessons and the message from my Kevin Grub video. Thank you everyone for watching. Ultimate23Dragon, that's my final answer.
Just hit the button. It doesn't take that long. Subscribe, hit the bells, follow.